January 10th, 2024. Wednesday of the first week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the first book of Samuel. Now the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no manifest vision. Then it happened that, on a certain day, Eli was lying in his place, and his eyes had dimmed, so that he was unable to see. And so, to prevent the lamp of God from going out, Samuel was sleeping in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. And the Lord called Samuel. And responding, he said, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli, and he said, "Here I am. For you called me." And he said, "I did not call. Return and sleep." And he went away, and he slept. And again the Lord continued to call to Samuel. And rising up, Samuel went to Eli, and he said, "Here I am. For you called me." And he responded, "I did not call you, my son. Return and sleep." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not been revealed to him. And the Lord continued, and he called to Samuel still a third time. And rising up, he went to Eli. And he said, "Here I am. For you called me." Then Eli understood that the Lord had called the boy. And he said to Samuel, "Go and sleep. And if he calls to you from now on, you will say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Therefore Samuel went away, and he slept in his place. And the Lord came and stood, and he called, just as he had called the other times, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And Samuel grew up, and the Lord was with him, and not one of his words fell to the ground. And all of Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, knew Samuel to be a faithful prophet of the Lord. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. The response is, "Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will." With expectation, I have waited for the Lord, and he was attentive to me. Blessed is the one who trusts in the name of the Lord, and has not turned to vanities or false idols. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Then I said, "Here I am. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will." In the scroll of the book it is written of me that I should do your will, O my God. I have desired it, and your law is within my heart. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. I have proclaimed your righteousness in the great congregation. Behold, I will not restrain my lips, O Lord, you know it. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. And soon after departing from the synagogue, Jesus went into the house of Simon and Andrew, with James and John. But the mother-in-law of Simon lay ill with a fever. And at once they told him about her. And drawing near to her, he raised her up, taking her by the hand. And immediately the fever left her, and she ministered to them. Then, when evening arrived, after the sun had set, they brought to him all who had maladies and those who had demons. And the entire city was gathered together at the door. And he healed many who were troubled with various illnesses. And he cast out many demons, but he would not permit them to speak, because they knew him. And rising up very early, departing, he went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon, and those who were with him, followed after him. And when they had found him, they said to him, "For everyone is seeking you." And he said to them, "Let us go into the neighboring towns and cities, so that I may preach there also. Indeed, it was for this reason that I came." And he was preaching in their synagogues and throughout all of Galilee, and casting out demons. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. How can you rely on the truth and authority of Jesus to confront and silence the deceitful influences around you? When it was evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases, and he drove out many demons, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Mark 1 verses 32 to 34. Today we read that Jesus once again drove out many demons. The passage then adds, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Why would Jesus not permit these demons to speak? Many of the early church fathers explained that even though the demons had an understanding that Jesus was the promised Messiah, they did not understand fully what that meant and how he would accomplish his ultimate victory. Therefore, Jesus did not want them to speak only half-truths about him, as the evil one often does, thus misleading the people. So Jesus always forbade these demons from speaking about him publicly. It's important to understand that all of the demonic spirits failed to understand the full truth that it would be Jesus' death that ultimately destroys death itself and sets all people free. For that reason, we see that these diabolical forces continually conspired against Jesus and tried to attack him throughout his life. They stirred up Herod when Jesus was a baby, which forced him into exile in Egypt. Satan himself tempted Jesus just prior to the beginning of his public ministry, so as to try to dissuade Jesus from his mission. There were many diabolical forces who continually attacked Jesus throughout his public ministry, especially through the ongoing hostility of the religious leaders at the time. And it can be presumed that these demons may have initially thought they won the battle when they accomplished their goal of having Jesus crucified. The truth, however, is that Jesus' wisdom continually confounded these demons and ultimately transformed their evil act of having him crucified into an ultimate victory over sin and death itself by rising from the dead. Satan and his demons are real, but compared to the truth and wisdom of God, these diabolical forces reveal their complete foolishness and weakness. Just like Jesus, we need to rebuke these tempters in our lives and command that they be silent. Too often we allow their half-truths to mislead us and confuse us. Reflect today upon the importance of confidently rebuking the evil one and the many lies he tempts us to believe. Rebuke him with the truth and authority of Christ and pay no attention to what he says. Let us pray. My precious and all-powerful Lord, I turn to you and you alone, as the source of all truth and the fullness of truth. May I listen to your voice alone and reject the many deceptions of the evil one and his demons. In your precious name, Jesus, I rebuke Satan and all evil spirits, their lies and their temptations. I send these spirits to the foot of your cross, dear Lord, and open my mind and heart only to you. Jesus, I trust in you. Amen.